Hello, my fellow readers. Today I'm going to be talking about a thriller that I read recently, and it's The Shadows by Alex North. This was a very interesting book that attracted me because of the thriller aspects and kind of mysterious thriller aspects, but also from the friendship angle. It tells the story of four young friends who meet, I think they're like junior high age, if I remember correctly. I don't think they were too much younger or older. I think they were like junior high age when they meet, and they just form this interesting dynamic of a group of friends. The narration of the story itself, there's a couple of different narrators. There is, I believe, the policewoman, but our main narrator and also part of the group of friends is Paul. And when events in the current age occur, Paul starts reflecting back on the past and what happened. And so we know that something very bad happened, but we're not entirely sure about what it was and who the victim was. That's stuff that gets kind of puzzled out as the story and the narration goes on. But through Paul's storytelling, we essentially learned that in this group of friends, when they all got together, they kind of dark one that you would suspect would lead people down the wrong path, and also would be willing to do bad things. We have him, and his name is Charlie, and years ago, Charlie disappears. So there's some big event that occurs, and Charlie disappears, and nobody has seen from Charlie since then. We do learn, as again the story progresses a bit, that the big event was a murder, and Charlie was really the main suspect, maybe more than a suspect. But again, he disappeared, and nobody knows what happened to Charlie. In the current age, there has been some activity online where it could potentially be Charlie, and it just brings up this whole investigation, and other things in the community start happening. But as I said, because of this happening, Paul starts reflecting back on the past and telling the story of what happened back then. So you do see Paul and him, meeting Charlie, and kind of the, secondhand man to Charlie, who was Billy, and then the fourth member of the main boy group, James. And fairly early on, you start to worry about James because you know that Charlie and Billy are close, and they're kind of more of the bad boys of the group, where they agree with one another, and there's just that play off one another. You know where Paul stands because he's the narrator, so you're not too worried about Paul. But then there are some suspicious things that happen around James, including like Charlie making comments that he has dreamed of like a bloody death for James. Like he starts saying that he's envisioned it. And that's part of it too. Like there's this whole psychological aspect that Charlie does where he's like trying to teach them all how to have lucid dreams and like meet up with each other in dreams, and it's like taking control of dreams. And from Charlie's angle, it's actually very manipulative what he's trying to do to his group of supposed friends, but he's just that kind of twisted kind of character where you can see that he's really getting in there and like manipulating them. And James did not like Charlie because of this, and also because of how he would essentially threaten James, and he'd be like, it's just a dream, it's not real. But then Charlie would use other manipulative tactics to kind of put James in his place. And Paul, meanwhile, is kind of stuck in the in-between of these two boys and also his friendship with James, and he doesn't always know where to fall. In the meantime, there is another character that Paul was close with, and she is a girl and his friend, Jenny. And you'll see Paul's relationship with Jenny develop as really things start cycling faster and faster around Charlie and his not so great tendencies. And so you know that murder, that big event is going to be shown to you. I don't want to get too much into, the victim and everything, but once the victim is revealed, then other truths come to light, and you do start seeing what's been going on online, like who's actually saying the things online. And you also do get to uncover what happened to Charlie all those years ago. And it's just, it was an interesting thriller. I did read Alex North's other work, The Whisper Man. I actually liked The Whisper Man a little bit more than The Shadows, but The Shadows was good in itself. There is a character in The Whisper Man that makes an appearance in The Shadows, and that's the detective that I was telling you about. I don't remember what her actual title is, but she's in both as a police officer investigating the crimes, and I like her as a character. Like, I thought that was fine. I was more invested in hearing Paul's narration of events, but I didn't mind her angle as an investigator looking into the crime. I thought that was fine. Again, just as a whole, I think The Whisper Man was a better narrative and just overall better story. I got a little bit more drawn into it. But I liked The Shadows. I liked the friendship dynamic and the manipulative twists that can occur in certain friendships. I thought that was very interesting. I enjoy more thrillery books, so I don't know. I thought it was a good read. And I guess because I am like a huge fan of dark academia, like this isn't dark academia, but it's kind of like similar strains in it because it had like the group of friends and like something bad happens and they have to puzzle it out. So it's very, very similar to that kind of vibe. So I really did enjoy this book. If you're looking for a good like dark thriller, close to a horror book, I would recommend The Shadows. I would definitely recommend The Whisper Man. There was definitely some creepy moments in that, so even though this review is more on The Shadows, I gotta throw in The Whisper Man because that was good and creepy and like viscerally disturbing. I liked The Whisper Man. I will be looking forward to seeing what Alex North puts out next because I did enjoy both The Shadows and The Whisper Man enough to want to see what else is coming. Maybe it would have the same police officer come back in. I'd be pretty okay with that because I like I said, I don't mind the character. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next. What kind of dark thriller will we get? But that is it for this video. So until next time, bye.